This is Unpivot, the show for Excel and Power BI fans and anyone who loves chatting about data. I'm Win Hopkins.
I'm Giles Mail.
I'm Mark Proctor.
I'm Steve Days.
They're all here.
They're all here.
Eventually.
Yeah. All with working audio. Excellent. Good start.
It's a good start. To be honest, we've done pretty well, I reckon, over the last year or two in terms of lack of IT issues. Don't want to touch wood.
They're all having a go at me because I tried to join and I'd just come from a Teams call where I had the microphone muted and I couldn't join, and I was trying to get my microphone to work, and Wynne was very helpfully explaining to me where the settings button was.
I'm not sure I could be accused of mansplaining by just trying to tell somebody where the settings button is. I think that's a little harsh. Not that you would Mark accused me of that, not Sue.
Yeah.
So,
surely there's only two criteria. You're a man and you're explaining in too much detail.
Now we're getting into a very. I don't agree with that. But am I mansplaining if I'm talking to you? Is that how it works?
I don't know. Yeah, we all know that I don't like to get into word definitions. That gets me into trouble. Avoid word definitions entirely.
My favourite one is when there's a box and it says description and you're clicking it. So now you type in there. Do I? Really? You want me to type in there, do you? But,
is that how it works?
That's
Good.
how it works. Thank you very much.
How's everybody? What's the news? Anybody got anything been happening in the real world?
Rubbish,
folks, depressed, rather than the nerdy tech world.
Tired, depressed, sick of recording videos.
Because winter, you got winter, that sad syndrome already.
It's cold. I'm in my conservatory, so I've been recording. I think we've all been recording courses by the sounds of it, but I do mine in my conservatory, and it's turned cold. It's too hot in the summer. It's too cold every other month of the year. So I've been recording for 2 months, and I'm very proud of the course I've built, and I'm done with recording videos. I'm done. I can't do any more this month. It's been hard.
I just finished today. Well, finished the recording today, and now I'm doing the editing and uploading and all the shiny bits around the outside of it, which then take as long as the actual recording, I think.
Yeah, that was exactly my question. What is your course?
Excel professional productivity. So 6 hours or so, tips, tricks, everything about Excel that a pro should use day-to-day work.
Just Copilot.
Copilot, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Put in
good course.
Excel agent, just type it in. I did actually this. I was listening to your FP&A Mod Squad episode today.
Yeah. Shortcut one.
Very weird listening to a podcast with people describing what they're doing on the screen, but actually it sort of works.
Really, it's supposed to be. There is a YouTube channel. Obviously, it's on Puls, so it's definitely an easier watch if anybody is interested in.
I was listening, so it's like, be interested to see.
I was pretty brutal on the last episode because it was for Shortcut, which is the tool that had big claims which it didn't live up to. But I think if you make big claims and you benefit from the marketing hype, you should be ready for the criticism. Which
world's humblest MVP. You've got to live up to that.
Yeah.
Was it Rosie AI was the one that? Is that the one that stopped?
Yeah, there's two. What was the name of the other one? But Rosie was one of them, which was a shame actually. We Dennis, the founder, spent a lot of time engaging with us. Really lovely guy. The tool was good. I mean, they've all been good in areas. It's weird because I feel like we've kind of hit a level on the other podcast where you kind of get a sense that they're all doing more or less the same. It's not quite true, but they're all making mistakes in weird areas and doing some things really well. But yeah, I think there'll be more. I think more will stop operations because agents just going to wipe the floor with everybody eventually. That's my opinion. I might be wrong.
Are they all ultimately running off the same one or two LLMs in the background, though? So it's really about how well they've built in all the prompting. under the hood. Is that essentially it? I have no idea.
Bit of a mix. So one or two, and again, it might have been, I'm not going to name them because I'll get it wrong. I think one or two didn't give you the option. It was just linked to an LLM. Most of them now seem to be linked to multiple. And it's been an interesting talking point on the podcast because a lot of them give you the choice. So if you've got a list of 8 LLMs, and one will give you significantly better results than the other, you'd think that would be a good thing. But psychologically, I think it causes more stress because you're like, well, I don't know which one to use. So what do? You have to try it 8 times now. So I don't know. The where we've ended up is it would be really great if you're going to use a third-party tool that links to 8 LLMs, kind of needs to be clever enough to go, this is the best one for that job and pick it. But it doesn't.
Yes.
That's interesting.
And what about you, Sue? What have you been up to this week? Business as usual?
Yeah. So I've not been doing any training. Training was last week. I did, but I don't write training courses as such. I was delivering training, so that was cool. AI and things like that. But this week I got 2340 in my 5 I got first so running, sorry. So doing park run this season is all about park runs and getting stronger and faster. So first in my age group again, park run, and 10th female overall. So very, very pleased with that. And I got on the treadmill, and I hate the treadmill, so I don't run on the treadmill, but I tried it and I got 2340 in a 5K. So I was very pleased with that. This is quite fast.
Well,
yeah. So running is going really well. I'm having a break from marathons for a couple of months, just building up strength and speed. I'm waiting to hear. No, I've got Boston in the spring, and I'm waiting to hear if I've qualified for London. So
and that break just happens to coincide with Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas and that. Yeah, no, it's really good. I stood on. They've got this body tracks thing at the gym, and so I stood on it, and it told me I've got the body of a 42-year-old. It was lovely. I'm 56, so I was like, no. When everyone says how old, what age do you want? But I've had a lovely week. Yeah, lots and lots of doing data, lots of working and Power Query and a bit of Python and reporting and nice things.
Do you folks get invited to or have a Christmas party, given you sort of like sole trader type things? Or do you sort of end up going along to various shindigs, or just avoid them, or just don't get invited? Sue will be. I know you are. So
I do go to some. But there's like, we've got one on Friday. That's me and my web guy. But I do get invited to not the necessarily the Christmas things, but some things I get invited to.
Okay. Anything for you guys? Is there a full stack modeler Christmas shindig down the pub?
There is not. Miles is in Bristol. I'm in Winchester. I'm going to be, I'm not even spending Christmas with my own family this year. I'm just flying abroad with a friend. So I don't think I'll be going to any parties.
We'll have to just make it the Unpivot Christmas live stream special party.
Christmas.
You don't like Christmas. You do like Christmas, or you don't?
I quite like Christmas. Yeah, but to your point, I guess when you are kind of a not quite a sole trader business, but it's me and Miles and half of our team that we kind of have helping us are in Australia. That makes and face Christmas parties a bit tricky.
Yeah, fair enough.
And we'll have a Christmas lunch. I mean, there's myself and my wife, so it's really just going out to lunch.
Brilliant.
The only difference is that the tax treatment of it is it's a work lunch, right? So work Christmas party.
Absolutely.
Like it. Very good.
I think I know why Giles is not all over Christmas. Because let's face it, Christmas is a hype fest. Okay, it's all about building up, right? It builds up and it builds up and it builds up to midnight on the 24th or was it midnight on the 25th? Anyway, the end of Christmas Eve, and then suddenly it's like there, it's done, and it's over. So I'm not surprised that Giles is not like, yeah, I love Christmas, because it's a hype fest. And Giles, we know, is anti-hype.
Oh, there might be some truth in that, I guess. Yeah, and I'm too old to get lots of presents now. Like when I was younger, I used to get a sack of presents.
Yeah.
So you know, what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. No, we've got a little sort of family Christmas thing with everybody in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, that'd be nice. Just a little get together, nothing too crazy, and a couple of client ones to pop to as well.
Nice.
It's always a bit weird. It's that sort of networking thing where you know the client and then you don't really know anybody else who they've invited. So you sort of make small talk for an hour and then make your excuses, head off.
Oh, I am going to one thing, actually. I can say this because we won't release this until Saturday. So tomorrow morning, it's Danielle Stein-Fairhurst's like Women in Financial Modeling Christmas virtual party.
Lovely.
Oh, okay.
And she's asked me to essentially like bombard it at the beginning, you know, strategically, and cause ruckus for 5 minutes and then leave. So I'm attending that.
Excellent.
Don't know what I'll do yet.
Are you attending as you or the humble MVP?
It will 100% be the humble MVP. She has specifically requested full-on humbleness in fur coats, so that's what she'll get.
See, that's when you've got an alter ego, you can get away with almost anything, and you can just blame it on that, can't you? You can say, "I didn't say it; it was the humble MVP."
I've had this chat with Miles. I feel like I can do any. I mean, I dropped the Lambda rap with a bunch of F-bombs, and I said to Miles, I was like, "That's going to get taken down within 24 hours." Fine. I did. Oh, I sent you my vibe coding rap, which I have tactically chosen not to share because I think it's a bit too much. But
another one, the After Hours episode.
Yeah, it's. I was very angry when I recorded that. But I do feel like I can get away with anything. It's great.
Pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I might just stretch here a minute. And
look at that.
Look at this Unpivot merch. So links available in the description and the chat. So we've got a bit of t-shirt merch. We've got some got myself a nice little Unpivot mug. Look at that. It's lovely.
I think
so we've got three lines of merch. We've got the tardy line, the humble line, and the prompt bingo line. So there we go. Pick your choice. We've even got a Christmas stocking with no shower curtain this time though. Mark was impressed a long time ago when we talked about merch.
Yeah, when we first talked about merch, Wynne sent me pictures. One of them was a shower curtain with the logo on it. So I was disappointed that there was no Unpivot shower curtain. No.
If it's a shower curtain, I feel like it should just be all four of our faces just staring at you.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
That would not be good.
Or maybe with cutouts of the heads as well, so you could just stick your head. For that defeats the point of the shower curtain. Really.
That's just a shower curtain with holes, isn't it? Oh, you mean the bodies? Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Just a rubber shower curtain. What else was going to say? Apple reviews. So I've been knocking the poor old Apple listeners for months and months for not leaving us an Apple review. And I discovered that I'm only seeing Australian reviews. So it's the Australians that I really need to knock. Whereas the Brits, good on you, Brits. Okay. So a bunch of really nice reviews on Apple. So thank you for those. Couple from America. One not so good. 1 star.
Did they say anything?
No comment. 1 star. I know.
Google Sheets.
You know, my first Amazon review for my book was 1 star from a guy called Mark. So, which was a bit concerning, given it had some DAX and stuff in it. 1 star, load of rubbish. That was it. Bunch of nonsense. That was the one review, and then thankfully I got some nice ones the next day. But I was a bit worried for a day.
Yeah,
I know. You can't do anything about it. Can't get him to explain his reasoning.
Well, you can. You can try and find their address and hunt them down and vendetta for years. And there's lots you could do, but you probably shouldn't.
Nah, probably let that one go.
Yeah.
And it is official. We are May 2026. The Unpivot gang will be together.
Wait.
Be in London on May the 20th, I think.
Yes.
I think it's the 20th.
Yes, it is, because it's 2 days and it's my birthday on day one of the summit. I have asked Tara and Elena if they can just make the whole summit theme me. I haven't had a reply yet, but we'll see.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Wait, are we speaking on the Giles's birthday or the day after?
So Mark is presenting on the 18th, a masterclass, I believe.
Ooh. What's your masterclass on?
I think that masterclass is on getting started with M-code.
Yeah. I'm doing one on the 21st, which is maximizing Excel productivity. And then with lots of tips and tricks and fancy things. And then, Mark and I are both doing sessions on that 20th in the morning. And then we're doing an Unpivot session and just basically talking about how much better Power BI is than Excel. Me and Sue are just going to lord it up about how good Power BI is.
I've ever heard.
The worst thing is if it's Giles's birthday the day before, he's not going to be on top form.
And he might also forget, judging by question of the week, or yes, I'll think about that now. He might also forget to prepare. Whereas
there's nothing to prepare for. The question is, why is Power BI better than Excel? I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I can do that now.
We'll have no slot. We'll have no slot at the Excel summit.
You'll need some prepping. That's one thing.
You'll need some prepping.
Okay. All right, Mark.
Game on, win.
We're going to take him down. We're going to take him down.
Yeah.
Take him down.
You can actually, and this is genuine, you can use code Unpivot to get 10% off. So there we go. There'll be a little link in the show notes if you want to click on it. So London, end of May 2026. 20th.
And this will be the first time that Giles and Wynne have ever met.
Yes. It will be.
Oh, we're the only two that haven't met out of the four of us. How mad is that?
Is this where you're 7 foot tall? And I'd go, I never realized you were that tall.
No, you'd be Miles is tall. I'm average height. I'm like 5'10", 11-ish.
Some people you just bump into and you go, right. You got very different to what I've seen, because everyone's just sat down and everybody looks different in 3D compared to 2D as well. That's what I found when I've met clients after a couple of Teams calls and things. It's very weird.
Yeah.
People do look different.
Have I told you yet that I've met Miles online? We had a chat.
You may not have told me the details of it.
No.
Was it a good chat?
Giles looks concerned.
He knows all my secrets. Miles is great.
Cool.
Lovely. He's a very, very keen athlete.
Is he?
Yes. Yeah, he's training at the moment.
Is he?
Yeah.
I feel like you talk to him more than I do. I'm going to call him after this and see what training he's doing.
He's doing hardcore training.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And also, Ken Puls got in touch with me and Mark after the last episode, just to pull us up on our inaccuracy. So thank you, Mr. Puls.
What did you do, or what did we do?
So we were talking about pivot tables spilling, and myself and Mark didn't. Well, or maybe I said it, might not have been Mark. That I didn't think power pivot tables spilt if there's something in the way, but apparently they do in the new version. So all pivot tables now give a spill error rather than that horrible something's in the way. Do you want me to wipe it out without telling you what it is message, which used to come up. So yeah. So thank you, Ken.
Is Ken coming to Excel in London? Are you coming, Ken? Oh, brilliant.
Ken's in. He's doing a masterclass.
Oh, is he?
That'd be good.
I've got video evidence of Ken in a fur coat in a restaurant in Bulgaria that I can't share because he'll kill me. But I've got it.
I've
definitely building up.
Dancing.
Release the Ken files. Release the Ken files. Have votes. Go on.
I believe it's under an NDA, which is a non-dancing agreement.
Oh, nice.
You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome.
Did we want to go to ABBA when you're over, Win?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
It's worth it. It is worth it.
It's worth it. I'd go again. Would you go again, Giles?
100%. Yeah, as many times as you want.
Oh, we'll sort it out.
Okay, nice one.
Really good.
Mark, you have to dance.
I'm also under NDA.
I also saw a post by John McDougall of howtoexcel.com fame.
Oh, he's good.
Doing a dependent drop-down thing, which Celia flagged that myself and Mark had a bit of a head-to-head on the old easiest dependent drop-down. So I did watch John's video, and I think we're still holding the title there, Mark. One of us.
I think he used a reduce stack method, which doesn't remove blank values, does it? I think you end up with a blank value there if it's. I don't think
it goes under the. I think if you're doing, that long formula, it doesn't fall under the easiest. I don't think.
I think my method of the drop and take is it doesn't even need a named range win. It just goes straight in the cell. It's so free. It's loose. It's just anyone can use it. Just copy and paste it around. Jobs are good. I think that's without doubt the best method.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't know my method. News, tech news. Ignite is one of Microsoft's things where they just save a bunch of stuff up and then announce it. Right, can I just read this out?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you going with the O word?
Well, yes, I am. So there's a new thing. I think it's called Fabric IQ. I suddenly had a doubt about that. But this is what is, and then it uses this. This is the sort of phrase about it. Users, I'm quoting. Users can create ontologies to unify enterprise semantics across data, models, and logic to operationalize decision intelligence with context-aware AI agents. I'm out, right?
Yeah.
What is there's jargon and there's jargon. Okay, ontologies. There's all these demos of ontologies.
Ontologies
is that a word now?
I create ontologies every single day. I'm all about ontologies.
I know the word for it because I watch a lot of atheist YouTube stuff, and they talk about ontology a lot because it's like the philosophy of existence or whatever. I just semantic models, ontologies.
Yeah, there's so many jargon words in that.
Did you see the comments in the chat? There's some really useful comments in the chat about what ontology means and what it refers to. But
in which chat, Sue?
In the chat, the post that you put on LinkedIn.
Oh, replies to my LinkedIn post.
Yeah, replies.
There was some useful thing. It's like, I shouldn't be made to do research, should I, to understand what's being said? It's just
I know. Karina says it comes from the Greek ontologia, meaning the study of existence.
There you go.
And how it is defined and how entities relate.
I think she's mansplaining to you, Giles. She's just repeating back what you just said, Giles. Claiming it as her own.
It's my thought.
Or
I
Sue's
had it
coffee.
first, ever. Apart from all the
Karina, don't listen to them. You know what you didn't know what they were going to say. I thought it was a very insightful comment.
I agree. I'm sorry, Sue. I'm making fun of you, not her.
Yeah.
Oh, are you?
I picked up on that.
Did you pick it up? I tend to ignore things like that.
So yes. So this. I'm not even sure what this Fabric IQ. You actually explained it quite well in the responses, Sue. So what is this ontology thing? What's it?
I put it into ChatGPT and said, "What on earth does this mean?"
It was a good explanation. So what did you say?
So it basically says you create one shared business dictionary. So you have key words that mean the same thing, regardless of, like, a customer is this thing and a product is this thing. So you have a business dictionary that is consistent across the whole business, which sounds like common sense, but quite often it's not.
But then
you work with
you
many
tag.
different-
You can now basically tag
yeah,
all your assets, your data assets, models, whatever, tables, lake houses, with these words, and then it's easier for it's all about AI finding it easier to find, is it?
Giving AI, absolutely, the context that it needs to answer questions. So if just silly things like different departments or different areas of a business can refer to things slightly differently, and as a human being, and probably most AI now can understand that these things might mean the same, but it's about making it sort of try it as clear as possible. So if you can define your things to be exactly the same across the whole organization, which could be global, then what it does is it helps AI to have the context to understand the real life questions that you might type in and ask. So it's about, like in Power BI, when you have a table with fields, you can give it synonyms, so it's able to understand the questions that you ask refer to this thing. So it's basically about having a business dictionary that is consistent to allow everyone, not just AI, to know that when they ask a question, it's the right question wherever you are. That's my understanding.
I think we, on the podcast about a month ago, we discussed about the fact that some businesses, they have like sales is defined 10 different ways, and different people use sales in different ways. So basically, Microsoft have taken our idea, implemented it, and then used a really difficult word to explain it.
Yes.
But did the word, so I'm assuming the word had the meaning in data fields before this. We've just never used it, or has somebody at Microsoft been given a task and said, like, you have to find the right word for this thing, and they've picked up, Socrates and gone ontology. Let's use that word. Was it already the thing?
I think I've never heard it, but I think from somebody's post on response to my LinkedIn post, they had listed that their product was based on this ontological structure, So I think it is a thing, but in the sort of, but I think it's more in the people who are into the whole world of Microsoft Graph and all this sort of stuff, where everything, all these network connections and things, and you give everything linked sort of structure.
Okay.
Just
Have you used? Have you used Obsidian? So Obsidian is it's like a cloud-based system where you put in different things and you add tags, and then it builds this cloud that allows you to sort of, cross-find things based on certain concepts.
We used to share an office with a company that sort of specialized in some of these sorts of things, and one of the things they had was some tools that, like, they used to deal in legal cases and things like this and be specialists on these things. And they'd put all these documents together into these systems, and it would produce these amazing like network diagrams. So you could click on one document, and then all these little lines would shoot off to all the other documents, and then they could see all the related, and this person shows up in these 1,700 documents around here. It's pretty cool. It looked amazing when they produced it, and it helped them then sort of delve in and narrow down where they needed to focus. So, but nothing I've ever, it's so out with the Excel world. It's just blows my mind now.
Brian Julius introduced me to it, and I haven't stuck with it as much as I would want to, but it's a way of trying to capture, we read so many different things, and it's trying to actually sort of bring thought clouds, and but it's really useful.
What about Mark's paper notebook? Can that be indexed like that?
I've got lines all over it.
He just rips out the pages, sticks them on the wall like some sort of.
I'm now a new one. I'm now on a bigger notebook.
There you go.
And then after that, I then get to move on to this one, and this one was a present from Giles for being in his music video.
Yeah. Got a nice collection of gifts. Percy Pigs.
Notebooks galore.
I'm ready.
Did he have his humble MVP on the front of it for you?
He had a sticker as well. I had an humble MVP sticker. So he's got thousands of those. Like even when we went to Bulgaria, he's like, touting his stickers. Anyone want a sticker, Humble MVP sticker? And everyone's like, no.
Funny story for you about the music video. I think we did this to you as well, Mark, but basically Miles went around Deb, Layla, and I think Mark's room beforehand. Did we do this to you? And put stickers everywhere. So bearing in mind, like I'd met like Layla twice briefly before, when she got in her hotel room to record the video, she had a picture of me on her pillow, plus in various other places in her hotel room. Luckily, she's fun and doesn't take life too seriously. But yeah, we did it, and then we thought, is that funny or is that weird?
Or is it Giles? Funny and weird.
Yes.
Yeah. There was also a little bit of confusion around the fact that a PBIX might disappear. So there was a blog post saying that the new PBIR format was going to be the new default. So therefore, for Power BI reports, and in most people's minds, Power BI reports are PBIX files. But for the techies, a Power BI PBIX file is sort of just a container for a bunch of other things, within which is like the data and also the report, and the PBIR is the report part. So that's what it's all about. PBIX isn't going anywhere, but there's a lot of 3 or 4 posts on LinkedIn saying RIP PBIX or stuff like this. You know, it's just like it's not actually going anywhere. So
no, it's just really interesting though, being able to use PBIR. Basically, the PBIR format allows you to programmatically change the front end, the visual end. So we have access to be able to change the back end, but to be able to drill down into the front end. And
all the charts,
all the charts. It's really interesting at times.
You know, I sort of went out of my comfort zone today and downloaded Visual Studio and installed Power BI MCP. And I have no idea what any of that really means, but it sounds cool. And I started clicking buttons and doing loads of stuff. And it's just like, oh, this is quite cool. And it says, do you want to grant permission to do this? Grant permission to do this. I'm just clicking, yeah. God knows what I'm doing. So, you know, and I'm just saying, okay, rename all my measures. And it just renamed all my measures. You know, it's basically allowing you to chat and give instructions, natural language instructions to change your model. But it sort of prompted me to, I've always got a table called My Measures, and it said, oh, you don't need that. It's like, do you mind? I quite like my measures table. So yeah, so it's suggesting changing things and getting rid of it and renaming it as measures, which isn't allowed. So yeah, you know, interesting.
Yeah.
But
if we up on full words now, because we've now got RIP PBIX, and then you've got PBIMCP. What's wrong with just using proper words these days? Does everything have to be shortened down to a TLA? I'm not sure it does.
I think so.
It's something that is just trying to stay up to date. So the MCP servers I haven't been able to play with yet, but I'm doing a session in January on it purely to make me learn how to use it. And Kurt Buehler and Tabular Editor are pushing it, and so anything they push is generally going to be worth it. But it's really interesting times, but also just, you know, sometimes you think you just want to get on and work, really. But
I feel like sort of my capability in my brain is just being like, you know, imagine a piece of plasticine and just pulling bits off, and it gets thinner and thinner at the end. And then some bits sort of, you know, a bigger chunk comes off and I go down that path. Other bits just snap off, you know, and you just chuck that bit away and it dries off in a corner. And that's where I am with a lot of this stuff. It's just like, I can't keep up, you know, a lot of it and the jargon and things. And I'm just, I think the fact that Power BI is part of Fabric has really thrown me into a bit of a curveball in terms of that it's not something I'm ever really personally going to get into. Right? We've got team members who are well into it. They are well into it, but it's just for me, nah, I'm never going to delve past the very thin layer of what Fabric can do. Saying that, I did play just before we had a chat with Copilot for Data Flows Gen 2. So Power Query Copilot,
Oh,
which
what was
actually
it like?
worked really nicely.
I say it should do.
Yeah. So I just pulled some data in, said, combine first name and surname into a single column, extract the department name between the 2 plus signs in this column, find me the max value from this column, and it just did it. And then I said, please rename my steps something meaningful. Can't do that.
No.
So close. But yeah, good.
I quite like doing the steps, and I like learning. I love playing with Power Query. So almost in a way, I don't want the machine to do it for me because I enjoyed it. That's the whole reason I do it. Is because I like the well, joy probably is probably a word. I love being able to take something that doesn't, like I'm working with a business on just something that took 2 hours that they spend an hour every day doing, and there's a real satisfaction in doing that. And I can see, if you could get a machine to do it for you in 1 minute, then that's even better.
Especially if it's something tricky and you spend a good hour and you come up with some creative solution. It's just like that's the bit of the job that I live for, is coming up with like creative things that solve tricky problems. It's just like, I can just type it into Copilot and it's just going to give me the answer. It's going to get a bit dull, isn't it, really? It's just like, where's the joy?
Yeah.
But surely, so if you use an LLM to do that, it will, because it's based on some level of probability, all those creative solutions, it won't ever give you those creative solutions. In your bell curve of probability, presumably it's always going to give you the stuff that's in the, this is what, based on what you've said, this is what you want. So I think there's probably still scope for the more avant-garde, Power Query nature win.
Although one man's creative solution is another man's something they knew for the last 3 years and just you didn't realize, or they just show you an easier way. What do you mean you white out all your cells? Why didn't you just turn off the grid lines? That's what Copilot would tell me.
But also, it's if you don't learn how to do things at a foundational level, how are you then going to get to the creative level?
Vibing. It's just vibing. That's exactly what you just said. Is exactly what vibing is, isn't it? It drives me nuts. But
keep chucking things at it. But you're right. You're not going to. Yeah. All right. Any other news before we get into question of the week? Mark's got something.
My long-awaited M-Code course, which I've mentioned on the podcast several times as being in progress, is now finished. It is now out and available in the world.
Well done.
Well
Thank
done.
you very much.
Are you proud of it?
I'm putting applause on it. I'm not going to add that to the podcast. So there was applause.
There was applause. I think it's got its. Because you learn a lot of things along the process. You think, like, at the start you know stuff, and as you go through, you ask more questions than you think you understand something, and then as soon as you have to explain it, like, I now need to know this in more depth than I did before. And as you go through, you think a lot of this stuff is much easier than you think it is, because in your brain, like, your brain gets different bits and pulls different bits together. But as soon as you actually go deep into something, you realize that how all those things connect together, and you go, oh, this is much easier than I realized, because all these things have similar constructs and similar values, and they're all based on like 2 or 3 principles. And why have people been making this so difficult for so long? So I think there's a piece around that the deeper you go into something, the more you understand how those things fit together. That then means the challenge is how you then explain that to people. And so that they get those concepts straight away, and then they don't have to look at 50 different things and try and get those bits connected, but hopefully explain it in a way that those ideas come out straight away, so that people can learn those things much, much faster.
Nice. Nice.
Anything else from anybody, or should we get into it?
I released a VLOOKUP diss. Everybody see that? See my VLOOKUP wrap?
Yeah. All very good. Enjoyed that.
Good. There you go.
It's all very good. So
I'm also planning. I'm planning a YouTube video about VLOOKUP, which may go against some of your rap concepts, Giles?
I just did it for the clicks. Don't listen to any of the actual words. Clickbait king.
I tell you what I want to do a video on is I'm going to go the anti-export to Excel crowd. I think it's got a bit out of hand, the people who are very anti-export to Excel. I think it's sort of got to a stage now. Maybe it's just because I've watched a few or seen a few of those posts that they keep coming up for me, but I'm I'm feeding the algorithm. But there's this. Quite often, export to Excel is the right option because a BI team can't produce every report that every team needs. And I don't know, everywhere I've ever worked, maybe the same report is needed for 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, maybe a year, and then a whole new report's needed, for something else, and then some other thing happens, and the business changes and the direction changes. So, for a BI team to try and keep up with all users' needs, admittedly, ideally analyze in Excel or something like that, in terms of connected to the data model, or allow people to build visuals off a centralized model. But again, different skill sets. But export to Excel, if it's done in a sensible way, I think it's another tool in terms of getting. It's almost like people are wanting to hold on to the data for data's sake. Ultimately, it's the business that need to use it to make some decisions to run the business. So
I don't have any issues with export to Excel. I think it can be extremely useful because you can do all your data transformations within your model, but not everybody wants to learn Power BI, and not everybody has access to Power BI.
Yeah.
But everyone has access to Excel. So as long as there is a process and it's managed effectively, I love Power BI, but I also love Excel, even though I'm not a proper Excel user, Mark, which I'm not. But I do see the value in being able to use data within Excel for people that are really Excel users.
I think there'll always be a CEO or a CFO somewhere who'll be like, I've come up with this really good idea. Can you run this scenario for me? And the Power BI people, the idea isn't fleshed out. There it is. It's going to be the most iterative thing you've ever seen. Yeah. If you're just trying to build the data model for it, would take hours upon hours upon hours. And actually, at some point, you can go, you know what? Yeah, let's just get this idea going in Excel. Because to try, without any definitions, without any structures, like to try and do that in Power BI would be a nightmare. But in Excel, someone can literally just drag things around on the page, and it's you are free to do anything you like. And as soon as someone goes, yeah, let's go with that idea, then you can move it to the next. There's always going to be someone who comes up with what they think is a really good idea that's not fleshed out at all, and you've just got to find a way to work out whether that actually works.
Yeah, whether it's worth investing more time in it.
Yeah. And if you do invest and build that report, it might not be relevant in 6 months' time, and something else is going on the side, and it's just best of both worlds. Just do as much as you can that's repeatable. You don't want to be exporting to Excel and then manually fixing it up every single month, but
no,
just ad hoc stuff. Great.
Yeah.
Let people have it. Okay, question of the week. Here we go.
It's the question of the week. It's the question of the week.
Okay, so we've left it pretty much right till the end again. This time, what best practices do we ignore? So, any takers to kick us off, or I've got one or two?
I can start.
Yes.
I ignore the advice about not using merge and center.
Oh my God! Can we use the kick him off the podcast button? What's
Where's
the
that
thing?
I've got no issues with merge and center. I even use merge and center.
Can we get a replacement for the Global Excel Summit for our talk?
Hang on. Hear me out. Merge and center is not the problem. Merge and center is the symptom. Merge and center is the symptom of somebody who has designed a workbook badly. Merge and center is the symptom of a bad data approach to your workbook. Okay, so to say don't use merge and center, use center across selection. Guess what? Those same people just use center across selection, and they've still got the same a different problem. The problem isn't merge and center or center across selection. It's all to the problem is the workbook design, the workbook layout, how it's been designed. You solve the root cause, and suddenly people use merge and center in the, they'll use it on an output where it makes no difference. Nothing's referring to it. There's no VBA interacting with it. Nothing's interacting with it. It's purely just for presentational purposes. So honestly, it's a symptom. If you fix the root cause, people will use it in the right way. The problem is that people don't know where to use it, so they use it in the wrong place.
Giles is gone. Giles has done a Homer Simpson and just disappeared back into his hedge.
Tell me you use your mouse without telling me you use your mouse.
Well, here's my mouse.
Merchant Center.
It's right here.
By doing Merchant Center. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. We're having a bit of a owning up. We're not going to judge.
Are we?
I've got one.
Yeah, but we were. Anybody? I'll go next. Okay, so I'll do an Excel one. So the whole separation of inputs, calculations, and outputs. Now, I'm not sure I cheat on this a little bit.
What is going on in this episode? You don't want to do that.
Well, what if the input is a Power Query imported table, and then I want to add some calculations to that table? I want to add 10 columns of Excel calculations to that imported Power Query table. Should I really go to the effort of referencing that Power Query table on a calculation sheet? Or even if that table is a table, right? Just a normal table you can type into.
That would be taking it to an extreme.
Yeah. So it's almost like, I think I'm comfortable with the idea of inputs and calculations on the same table.
I think as long as there's areas and zones that are clearly for one thing rather than another. Like I don't have an issue with, because some people will build their Excel workbook and they're like, it's a separate tab. Some people just use different areas. I think as long as there is distinction and there is visible distinction, as in maybe you color those cells differently.
Yes.
Which way you did a masterclass for me the other day, and I think you had some cells on there, and you colored them differently to show the fact that they were different in nature to the other cells. So I would say that as long as there is distinction and some labeling to make that clear, then I think that is acceptable, because ultimately, otherwise you've got a bigger problem to deal with.
Just adding work, I reckon. Cool.
I kind of lead. So I've got one, but it's not a specific one. It's actually just more broadly that I think you should be comfortable bending best practice rules when you need to. So that's a great example where I think for strict, like if you were working as part of a big modeling team on a project finance transaction, you would want to be sticking pretty religiously to separate your inputs, calculations, and outputs, maybe with the exception of like a dynamic dashboard. But I think you also have to be able to make judgment calls and bend the rules or flex it. And like you say, Mark, as long as you're still signposting things and making it clear what you're doing, like being really strict with the rules is also the wrong decision. So yeah, if anybody came away from training and was like, okay, I can never have a calculation near an input and I can never have an output near a calculation, that would be a crazily rigid headspace to be in.
Yeah. Any Power BI ones, Sue?
I use calculated columns sometimes.
Oh, this is like confession time, isn't it? This is brilliant. Safe space, Sue. Safe space.
It depends upon my model, and quite often I'm working with really, really messy data because I work for lots of small companies and lots of stuff. And sometimes I don't want to put it in Power Query because it has to do, we're not talking millions or billions of rows. So I don't want another step in Power Query. I've got my Power Query I just want a quick little calculated column. So sometimes I will use calculator columns, and I'm okay with that because sometimes it's quicker to actually do that than to add it into Power Query when I don't want to. So sometimes I do.
Yes, well, very honest of you, Sue.
I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. That was...
I know. I'm
That was the one that got Mark.
Yeah, I figure
yeah.
I can do it in Tablet Editor, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Sue, we listen and we don't judge.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I completely and utterly agree with your comment, Giles. Best practices are best practices, and what's right for one model isn't necessarily right for the other. And you know, we have best practice analyzer within Power BI, which will scan your model and it will give you scores as to certain areas that are good or bad. And there are some things that you really don't want to mess up, you know, like your relationships and many to many. But there are some things that you need, if it works for your model and you can make a valid reason, then you can be a little fluid with. So yeah,
I think it's one of the biggest mistakes that certain groups of modelers make sometimes, where you get really dogmatic. The simpler training example I always give is, you know, we would train inputs in Excel to be in yellow fill. Don't leave our training and start kicking off on people when you see blue font for inputs, because it's just a different version of good for different people. There are many ways of doing things the right way. So yeah, that's a key message for us.
One of mine for Power BI is I'm terrible. I hardly ever, if ever, hide unused columns and dimension keys and all that sort of stuff. You know, you're meant to go through and hide all that sort of stuff, so that you don't accidentally use the things you shouldn't use in a visual in the future. Or especially, it's more important if really somebody's getting build access to that model. And nowadays, even more important to do it because of if you're going to be sharing your model for AI in, you know, Copilot access. So something in the past that it's never been a big issue, and I've just found it a hassle to then unhide or show hidden, or I'm trying to connect to it with Excel and I have to realize I've got to go back and unhide it because I need it for something else, or I need to test what's missing, so it just ended up causing me more grief than it benefited. So I've never had a downside of not hiding them yet. And it's been 9 years, but I keep being told I should hide them. So, and I know I probably should, but don't do it.
Told by who?
Best practice analyzer and everybody who talks about how you should build a Power BI model. So hide those columns. Like the ultimate fact table shouldn't have any visible columns, or even be visible. A fact table is your ideal, because
I do tend to hide them because I don't want the user to see them, and to use them, I want them to use.
You just don't want anybody to see your calculated columns, Sue.
Yeah,
I don't mind them seeing that too much. But yeah, no, I do hide those only because I don't want users to come in and pull the wrong thing in. I want to control what they can pull in, but you can. But if you use Analyze in Excel, it just doesn't see them, and sometimes you want to be able to use them.
Yeah. I often find, because I'm dealing with crappy Excel data, I need to see what's not mapped properly. And therefore I need to see the items that exist in the fact table that aren't in the dimension table. And if I've hidden the fact table column, I've then either forget it's there, or I go scrabbling around and then unhide it. And then, Mark, you got another one?
I don't always use the simplest formula that I could.
I'm not surprised.
I'm with you now.
And again, I think there's we've got this principle about things should be as simple, but in going for simplicity, we miss repeatability. And honestly, I think,
or flexibility.
Flexible. So sometimes I think there is definitely grounds for going for a formula that even takes longer, does more than what you need. But imagine if you've got a workbook that's got 70 different formulas in it of different styles, or a workbook that's got like 6, and all those, they're all variations of that same 6. So you can build the shortest formula, the most efficient formula, but sometimes if someone's got to maintain it, I think repeatability is something that we've gone away from, and actually just being able to say, look, this uses the same logic, but it's now looking at column 2. Well, I've given a VLOOKUP example there. That's really bad. Don't use VLOOKUP. But it's reducing things down to the smallest amount of knowledge, and then applying that knowledge over and over again, rather than having a huge number of different scenarios. So I'm going to say it doesn't have to be the simplest formula. I think it's better to have a repeatable formula, and then that creates simplicity in your workbook, because then it's easier for people to follow and understand where things are going.
Can I partly counter that and partly strongly agree with it as well?
Yes.
So I partly counter it because I still think you can build simple, traditional, I'm thinking financial models, so it might be different in different contexts, but with good use of flags and blocks and everything like that, I think you can build stuff that is repeatable. However, having just finished this financial modeling course where I did a traditional solve and a full dynamic array solve, I can't claim to be sticking to simplicity when I'm doing, what my depreciation lambda is about 15 lines deep. It's the complete opposite of everything I've trained for 15 years, but it's really good. It's really good.
But the application of it is now simple, isn't it? Because you've now got that, right? And the application is simple. You've modularized it, so it's now easy.
But especially when you get into, like, very naturally, I've gone into Craig Hatmaker territory, because once you build it the first time, you look at the formula bar and you go, good God. So, of course, I've just named it in a name range, and I've called it corkscrew or depreciation, and you just call on the lambda, and that's it. So I'm doing all the things in lambda world now that I've been training against, which is why I did both in this course, so that I could say, hey, look, here's this way, here's the other extreme. Let's talk about it. But it is interesting.
I think there's an element of where we spoke the other day about how you can build something that can cover every scenario that then becomes too hard to unpick later on. So there is a tipping point, right? So
yes.
there's a balance in there, but I know what you're saying. Again,
the one thing I still don't totally buy into, and again, I'm thinking financial modeling world, is you should use dynamic arrays because you can change the number of years from 5 to 10 and it'll all update. Like I've always said, we could do that anyway, because you just have a template with the 10 years or 15 and you just only use 5 of them. So the amount of effort I've just had to go through to build a dynamic array 3-statement model. And if the only benefit is I can change the years from 5 to 7, I honestly don't think it's worth the effort.
Yeah.
There are better reasons.
Well, most of the time you'd have a reasonably fixed horizon anyway.
Exactly.
So it's almost like I don't, because even when I was on Paul Barnhurst's podcast, he asked about, should we use dynamic arrays to build financial models? And it's like, you're going to build your timeline, and it's almost like I'm going to use dynamic arrays inside that timeline. I'm not going to say, hey, now I need this to be a monthly model rather than an annual model, so therefore I've got to build in all that complexity. It's literally just by using dynamic arrays, it creates a standardization again of those formulas. And if someone tries to change a cell, obviously you get the spill error. So therefore I think it partly enforces other good practices in financial modeling, because that's the only way you can handle it. But yeah, the concept of you want to be so flexible that you can change your timelines and your time periods and all that I think that's a step too far.
I'm with you 100% on that. Yeah.
Have you got another one, Sue?
I think I can be much better at documentation than I am.
I think we're all a little bit guilty of that one. We sort of mutter sheepishly under our breath.
Yeah. I think we had a fabulous session by David Hanna on how to automate it. And that's one. There's a couple of sessions that I've had on the user group that I want to go back and play step by step.
Can I sheepishly join you with accessibility as something I consider as well?
Yeah.
I want to be better in that area, but sort of again becomes a low priority, which it shouldn't. So
no.
Well, I had somebody on our who gave a masterclass in our academy recently, who I said they're a data visualization expert, and I said, well, why don't you critique this? And they said that doesn't meet any of the accessibility standards around text boxes and various other things. And I'm like, oh, okay. So methods that I used to use, and then you see other people build a dashboard. And, oh, that's I like that method. I'll do this, do that. So I'm now kind of going back to actually the way I used to do things, because that makes them more accessible. But equally, so sometimes there's Microsoft's accessibility checker thing, which is there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that unless you actually approach something using screen readers and things like that, it's difficult to know what's actually accessible and what isn't. So that's definitely something I need to look at again.
Yeah.
My other one for Power BI is marking my calendar as a date table.
Oh, we know.
Pretty much never do it.
That's bad.
But it doesn't matter unless you're dealing with non-date dimensions in your date field, i.e. you've got like some ISO date, 2008, 10, 11.
No, it bulks out your model though.
No, but I have a calendar table. So I have my own calendar table, and I turn off the enable, gosh, what's it called? I've had a complete blank.
Automatic.
So, I turn off auto. So it get rid of all those, which I know Marcus date table does too. But the only, as far as I'm aware, the only main reason to mark your calendar as a date table is so that time intelligence works if your date field that is connected to your fact tables isn't an actual date, it's an actual code. So there's something I never deal with, because I never deal with that sort of thing. I'm always dealing with a Power Query generated date table. So I know I probably should for best practice, but again, best practice analyzer always calls me out on that one. It's like, there you go. You haven't got a...
I do it because it just bulks. It gets rid of any of the temporary tables. I've got the auto date time things turned off anyway.
So
that's I tend to use it, rather than time intelligence, I tend to use the filter and the offset.
Oh, okay. Offset. Cool.
Yeah, I prefer offset to time intelligence.
Question from Mark and Giles. Indirect. Where do you stand? Volatile functions. Do you care? Are they okay if there's one or two of them?
Yeah, I mean, I would try to avoid them wherever possible. I don't use indirect much. Well, actually, that's a lie. I use it a lot in esports within lambdas. I don't use it so much. Offset's traditionally been something that financial modelers have turned to in financial modeling, but for most use cases, you can not use it. You can use count ifs, sum ifs, things like that, and get the same result. I would try and avoid it, but again, a bit like we were saying earlier, I wouldn't literally go, I cannot use that function because it's not in my best practice. If I need to use it, I'll use it.
I would say so volatile functions, I think you just got, unless they're an issue, it's not an issue. So unless you've actually got a performance issue that's coming out of it, then why does it matter? So if you're going to use offset, I don't have any big concerns around offset unless it becomes really sluggish to recalculate, in which case you might use something else. But the indirect, indirect is just an indication that your workbook isn't built in a particularly good way, because you're suddenly relying on cell coordinates to pull out values, which as soon as you're relying on cell coordinates, then you've not taken a data approach to how you should build your Excel workbook. So I would say that if you're using indirect, you've got other issues. Now, understanding in Giles's esports world, you haven't got time to think, oh, I need to restructure this to be best practice, so it's a personal form. Like, you've just got to get stuff done, right? So you're going to use whatever thing you've got, and some things are positional. Like, you will on your esports things, you'll have things that are based around position. So therefore,
it's literally like what is in the lake on this tab? Is it a banana or a square or a brown apple? Indirect point.
But in the real world, I think indirect is I'd say don't use it, not because it's volatile, but because you've got other issues.
The one time I see it pop up I've seen it pop up a few times being suggested to me is when you want to refer to a table in a data validation, so that people use indirect to the table name and then they hard code in the table name. And I just can't bring myself to do that. So I just name the range instead. But
I don't know what you're talking about. Indirect.
Well, the indirect function.
I for the dependent drop downs, that was always my turn to. But I need to watch your videos.
So there's basically there's a few functions in Excel that are volatile. So basically, they recalculate even if they're not used.
Right.
Every time you make a change and calculate something, if you've got 10,000 offset formulas on a completely different sheet, unrelated, I am getting.
I see. Yeah.
They recalculate, right?
Yes.
An indirect is one that says, okay, indirect cell A1. So in cell B1, you type indirect A1. It'll give you the answer that was in A1.
Right.
So
Okay.
you can refer to things indirectly. So, but it's volatile and it's not auditable because A1 doesn't know it's being referred to because you've hard coded in A1.
Yeah.
So there's no trace dependence. There's no tracking what's getting hit. So for me, that's the worst bit about indirect is it's not traceable.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Can't say if I delete this column, will it impact anything else?
You don't know.
Because you don't know, because somebody's just hard coded in A1 in double quotes into the indirect formula. So yeah, bit too risky for my liking for the benefit of it. Like Mark says, there's always a way around it, usually.
In terms of the data validation list, so you could, I mean, because the challenge is that if somebody then renames the table, then your indirect is broken. So yeah, you've got named ranges, which if you rename your table, everything updates. Or I think is a method that I now use is you just reference the table as a spill range.
Yeah, that's a new one.
And then you just reference the cell. So literally, normally I have my table, and then right next to it, I have the thing which is the range that I then want to use in my data validation list. And that's appears to be the easiest method of all because it doesn't need a named range. It's just there. You can see everything that's happening. So that's my
and you can sort that spilled range and
exactly.
That's cool.
Okay.
Right. Any more? Who's got any more? Any other? I think we've been quite honest with a few of these. Exposing ourselves to a little bit of ridicule from the wider world here. Giles is just like, just go with the flow. That's his owning up.
But don't go with the vibe. You can go with the flow.
Yeah, don't go with the vibe.
Vibe. Merge and center. I'll tell you what vibe I've got with that.
Merge and center and VLOOKUP.
I'm going to do a rap on merge and center.
Any others from anybody? Anybody else jotted anything?
Sometimes I forget to, which I very always do, to remove measures that I'm not using. So sometimes you create measures to sort of explore and find things, and I think, I might need those later. So I really do need to go and clean those out.
Yeah.
That's it. Sometimes I release things because I like attention.
We moved away from best practice. Just confessions of a data nerd. We'll release that. There you go. That's a nice one for your little shorts, Giles. You can just crop.
Just that.
Just that. We can mark that minute, whatever.
This week on Unpivot.
I get rid of the background.
Confession if everyone already knows that, Giles.
Yeah, don't know.
Okay, I think we're going to have to wrap up, folks, because it's late. And but that was fun. I enjoyed the chat. I thought that was good. So thank you everybody for listening. Thank you to the Apple listeners who have left reviews, and wherever you are in the world, especially America. Come on, up the American average rating. You're behind everybody else in the world. Everybody else is 5 stars. All other countries. So just America. Yeah. Come on, folks.
Why 1 star? A 1 star without any context.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be somebody with a vendetta against all of us. Yeah. One of us, probably Sue. Somebody doesn't like Sue.
Probably somebody Sue beat in a marathon.
Yeah.
The 11th woman in there, the 11th fastest woman in that race. So, all right. Thank you for listening, everybody. Check out the links, buy some merch, and check out some tickets. Unpivot for a discount of 10% at the Excel Global Summit in London in May. All right, brilliant. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
everyone.
tables messy as can be. Columns wide and jumbled, nothing's clear to see. I need my data clean, lined up and precise. Gonna unpivot these fields, oh baby, that's nice. You gotta unpivot, make my data sing. From those cluttered columns, let the insides ring. Transforming tiny, now it's all in use. With the Unpivot, baby, I shake off the